Hi, this is Alpha Master Pimp Amp Hafiz, and another one of those things I want to just get off the top of my head and see where you at with this race. Um, all my life I've got a chance to learn how to become pro about my race. I'm pro black. I'm pro culture. I'm American. I'm pro. And therein lies the kind of interesting little keyword here, pro. What if all of a sudden race became a deterrence from freedom? What if all of a sudden race became a deterrent for enlightenment? What if race became a virus of sorts to actually induce ignorance? What if race actually prevented us from actually being able to identify ourselves as the individuals we feel ourselves becoming, without having to erase the ability for us to be able to include our race or our culture in how we define our certain individual mixture? Like, I got original bill of sale off the shores of Alabama of Noble and Claire Solomon, the first two people put together as this is going to be the Solomon gene in America, slave type gene. And then in the meantime, I got a lot of Cherokees to come through there and tried to miss the whole Trail of Tears by kind of mixing with the Negroes. And there were lots of free Negroes in the upper portion of Georgia, around the Terminus area, where we come from. And so I'm sure we came from the Cherokee, the lost tribe of pimp-style Cherokees. And I know definitely that I feel like I'm a part of the Slapaho tribe because, well, anywho. But back to the realization though. What if we all actually got a chance to totally be defined by our 32-strand DNA and no longer by our color mixture or whatnot? So our dominant traits and wherever we came from, it's set out now to make us whom we are right now, are all being given more props than our color, our hue, our culture, or where we from right now. That would really free up a lot of things, but it would complicate a lot of things, because I'm thinking now as the whole world is kind of opening up a little bit more, I'm starting to notice a mass amount of Americans, as well as a lot of other people who are really afraid to let go of their inclusion into a separate type of culture or whatnot from what would be considered something that everyone exists up under, or has a bit of, or has the possibility to have a bit of, or something. Meaning, what if black people had to stop? Well, we could still use black, but that's just a generalization. But nobody could really honestly try to use this race thing, like, oh, I'm from this island and you know how we are. Or, people can't say, oh, I'm from the Queen's England, or because you know how we are. Or people are like, well, I'm from French upbringing because you know how we are. Or, oh, I'm Jewish, so you know how we are. Or, oh, I'm Muslim, so you know how we are. Or, oh, how, I'm Catholic, so you know how we are. Oh, I am communist, so you know how we are. All of that gets squashed, and we go to straight 32-strand DNA. Which means that at this point, all of us basically acclaim ourselves as individuals. Therefore, we induce the right to actually enforce the one person, one vote realm. And anywhere we are, out of fairness, and still be able to be inclusive into those people who are indigenous of respect. And I think that's where the problem comes in, because some people are still just now freeing themselves from a lot of that impression of of being disrespected. And some people still live in it right now, even as we speak, on more of a massive scale, because, if you in Tupelo, Mississippi right now, or somewhere in the outskirts of, therefore of, you just can't jump up and all of a sudden consider yourself a free person at any given time and tell master kiss your ass, if basically speaking, your ass belongs to that culture. And that's a sad state of saying that, but then people all around this world have that same state as well. And we have to stop acting like we are so special that we shouldn't have those certain kind of realities in our own royal state. We're world travelers. We are not street travelers. We're not city travelers. And unless you really honestly can think of things in a world perspective, then you're a part of an old order. And this is a new one that is now forming itself. And it's just as simple as where you're at right now on this issue of race and culture, whom you belong. How do you define others and their worth and their caliber, their pedigree of sorts? That's where I'm at. What if we all turned in our brother cards? What would we do then? That's kind of like saying, what if all the HBUs, the historic black colleges, all formed one big college? What would they then be? Or for that reason, what if all the people who hate somebody all became one group of haters? What would that be? Think about that. Wow, I always saw that, man. In the military, I used to remember how the military had a way of bringing together racists of all colors so that they could basically find something more greater than them to kill. Or something that they dislike more than that. Well, now we're trying to dummy down that theory back into the world on a more peaceful level. So how would we then better distract our instinct to defend or to define each other because of our hues, our cultures, and our colors? How would we do that? I mean, when would we like if somebody just came out and say, okay, and go? How long would it possibly take for us to actually be able to shake that off and then get the memo down to everybody, including the rural area of Tupelo, Mississippi? I mean, work with me here, because that's all we got is each other. And our ability to actually think more deeper about the understanding of how now in this new world we all have a lot more of cultural shocks and growing pains to do before this is going to get anywhere stable enough for us to be able to provide for the masses as we've been provided for before we were free enough to do it on our own. Now we can reach out to each other all around the world, and there's almost nothing stopping us. Almost nothing stopping us. You can find any bit of information that your mind can honestly come up with somewhere on the same venue that you're watching me on. But yet and still, we still have this problem with being able to evolve into 32 strand DNA people. That means all bets are off on culture, all bets are off on color, and all bets are off on caliber or pedigree. You're not better than me, and I'm not better than you. But we all deserve some respect. A little bit more than we want to give to each other. Whether we like it or not. And that's why I'm Alpha Master Pimp Sir Easy. And you're not. Peace.